Hi everyone. You've actually learned the mid-segment theorem of a triangle, but I'm reviewing it here. So the mid-segment of a triangle is, please fill out these notes. If I can get my thing working, here we go. Is a segment, you can use Cami to get these notes, that connects the midpoints of the sides of a triangle. So in this case, D and E would be our midpoints. And so that means that AD is congruent to DB. And it also means that AE is congruent to EC, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're all congruent to each other. It would, I think, yeah, it would in an isosceles triangle. And DE itself, so this line right here, that is, in fact, the mid segment. That's the name. And it kind of makes sense. It's the middle of a triangle. Okay, every triangle has three of them. So you can see that they're all drawn here. We have the one RS, we have the one connecting R and T, and finally the one that's connecting S and T. Okay, the mid-segment theorem says that the segment connecting the midpoint of two sides of a triangle is parallel, we know this already, to the third side and is half as long as that side. Okay, so if, for example, if we are connecting these 2 points from this side connected to this side, it's parallel to the third side, and whatever length this is, it's going to be half the length of the other one. So you could either say x and 2x, or I could in fact call one of them 1/2 x and the other one x. It doesn't matter. Okay, so in example 1, we know that ST and TU are both mid-segments of the triangle. So it just tells you right away that they're mid-segments. Find PR. Well, PR is going to have to be double ST, so it's going to be 16. And then find TU. Well, TU is going to have to be half of the 10. So the mid-segment, the smaller one's always going to be half of the bigger one. In this diagram, X, Y, and ZY are the mid-segments. Find MN and ZY. So why don't you take a second and pause the video and try that, and then I will do it. So MN is going to just be double the one that it's parallel to, which is the 26.5. And so what is that? I should know this. I think it's 53, I hope, centimeters. Okay, what is ZY? Well, let me do that in different color. ZY is going to be half of the side it's parallel to. So you have to look at which side is it parallel to. And so since you already know it's a mid-segment, so this one's going to be 14 centimeters. Again, I'd like you to pause this after I read it. In the diagram, ED and DF are the mid-segments. Find X, DF, and AB. So pause, and then try it, and then now we'll go over it. Okay, so I know that this line is going to be exactly 1/2 of that line. So it's actually easier, in my opinion, to double the smaller one rather than have to use a fraction of a half and equal it to the total. So that's 6x minus 8 equals 5x plus 2. Subtract the 5x, add the 8. I think I'm getting x is 10. And then DF, very easy, just plug 10 in. So I'm getting 26. And then AB, you can just double that. But a really nice thing to do is to actually check by plugging 10 in and see you do get that. Okay, so based on the next question, what three pairs? So we know they're mid-segments because it shows everything's congruent. It shows that R is the midpoint of DE, T is the midpoint of DF, S is the midpoint of EF. So which would be parallel? So let's just say I take RT. Well, I know RT has to be parallel to the third side, so that would be EF. If I take instead TS, that's going to have to be parallel to its third side, which is DE. And the last one is if I take RS, it's going to be parallel to its third side, DF. One problem here, I'd like you to please pause and try this video. Find all the missing values. Okay, so we know that it's mid-segments because we can see from the drawing that S is the midpoint of QP, T is the midpoint of QR, and U is the midpoint of PR, and that's just by the markings of the tick marks. So what would ST be? Well, ST is parallel to the base, to this third side of 24, and it's going to be half of that, so it's 12. QR, that one is parallel to SU. SU's 11, QR has to be double that. PU, so this is a different kind of thing that I want you to think about. So that's not a mid-segment. That has nothing to do with something being a mid-segment, but it's congruent to UR because of the 3 tick marks, and the whole thing is 24, so I know that that's 12. Measure of angle SUP. Well, because these are parallel, that's an alternate interior angle, so it's 55 degrees. SUR, okay, so that is going to be this SUR, and we know that if this is 55 from before, SUR is going to be a linear pair with that, which is 125. And the last one, what is angle PRQ? Okay, so that's this angle right here. Oh, that's an interesting problem. So you know how you do that? We know that SR is parallel to the entire PR, which also means that it's parallel to this piece. I also know by mid-segment theorem that SU is parallel to the whole QR, which means it's also going to be parallel to this part. So I have a parallelogram. So opposite angles are congruent. So this angle is going to be 55 degrees. The next thing we're going to learn is actually section 5.5. So I'm giving you a little preview of it, and it's the last section in the chapter. So after this, that's really it for the material that's on your test. A quadrilateral with exactly one pair of parallel sides. That's the top and the bottom. Those are called the base. And then the other ones that are not parallel are called the legs, as you can see here. Now, an isosceles trapezoid, well, you know what an isosceles triangle is. An isosceles trapezoid is when the legs, remember these are the legs are congruent. Okay, and both pairs of base angles would then be congruent as well. So this is different than a parallelogram. Remember in a parallelogram, guys, remember that opposite angles are congruent, right? So this is different, and you can actually kind of tell how this one looks obtuse. This one looks obtuse, right? And the other one, the bottom ones look cute. So it's different in that the top 2 angles, those are the ones that are congruent, and the bottom 2 angles are congruent. Okay, so that's actually just a little theorem. Next, we have the median of a trapezoid. So the median of a trapezoid is the one that connects the midpoints. So the median of a trapezoid is like a mid-segment, but they just call it a median. So this is the median, and it connects the midpoints. Now, notice it does not look like it's half, right? It's not half of that amount. So it's different than a triangle. So maybe you can imagine it has to do something with base 1 and something with base 2. Let's see. And here's the rules about a trapezoid. The median of a trapezoid is parallel to both of the bases, and it's the average of the 2 base lengths. So what's an average? Well, if you got a test score of, let's just say, an 85, and then you got a test score of a 95, we add them together and we divide by 2, and that's how you find an average. Okay, and so that average would just be 180 divided by 2, so it'd be 90. So it's the same exact idea here. Let's just say I call this base 1, and this is base 2. Then that means that the average would just be, which is going to be this length right here, the average of, and it's, remember that the name of this thing is called the median, but we find the value of the median by finding the average, would be B1 plus B2 divided by 2. And an alternate way of writing that is 1/2 B1 plus B2. So that's up to you which way you want to write it. Okay, so let's just do a couple of problems quickly. Find the measure of the missing angle in the isosceles trapezoid. Well, there's actually 2 ways to do it. One way to do it is you just know the base angles are going to be the same because it's isosceles, just like the top angles. are also going to be the same. So it's 60. But the other way is, you probably remember in a quadrilateral, the angles are all 360. So you could have added these 3 up and gotten subtract from 360. But you should definitely know the base angles are congruent. Okay, find the length of the median. So I'm going to call that median MNX if we know that AB is 16 and DC is 20. So remember, to get X, all I do is add the top plus the bottom and divide by 2. So it's just going to be 18. It's just the average of the two numbers. Wow, maybe you actually could have just told me that 18 was in the middle of 16 and 20. So no work would have been required for that. Now this one's working a little bit backwards. So remember that this is base 1, this is base 2, this is my median, and the formula for the median is 1/2. Actually, I'll do the other one. You can do it that way, but I think it's easier, honestly, to write it as B1 plus B2 divided by 2. So now, suppose I have the median. I just want to show you an easier way to solve this is to multiply both sides by 2, and then you can cross those 2's out. So twice the median equals base 1 plus base 2. So that means twice 10, so 20, equals the first base plus the second base. Now I'm going to solve that, but I just want to show you all you're doing is you're just adding these two together. Normally you divide it in half and set it equal to 10. Instead, you can just set it equal to double 10. Okay, so 20 equals 3x minus 7. I can add 7, and I get that x is 9.